My fiance showed a startling change in behavior after I proposed. Now, she's trying to put her mask back on because I told her to return the ring. I proposed to my girlfriend of 2 years, Sharon, about a month and a half ago. It felt like the second the ring got on her finger, her attitude and behavior did a complete 180. While we were dating, we seemed exceptionally compatible. We shared common beliefs, or so I thought, and our morals seemed to align perfectly. 7 weeks ago, I popped the question, and she said yes. I remember thinking it was the happiest moment for both of us. But within a week, everything changed. It all started one night when I came home from work. I found 6 women in my living room, drinking wine like they owned the place. These weren't Sharon's usual friends. I had met her 2 best friends a year and a half ago. So who were these women? Sharon introduced me to them, and I tried to hide my confusion. Why was I meeting her inner circle now, after 2 years together? Sharon claimed she wanted to make sure we were a sure thing before introducing me to them. I found this strange. Why wouldn't I have met them sooner if they were that important to her? That night, they drained 4 bottles of rosé from my wine rack and left without so much as a thank you. It wasn't just the uninvited guests, it was how disrespectful they were in my own home. When I confronted Sharon about it, she brushed me off with a laugh, saying I was being no fun. Things escalated quickly. The next week, Sharon went out with these same women several times, often bringing them back to my place without warning. It became so frequent that I felt like my house was some sort of party central. When they were over, they treated me like the butler, shaking empty wine glasses at me, expecting refills. I finally put my foot down after the 4th time and made it clear I was getting a locked wine rack. Sharon just rolled her eyes and called me uptight. Then came the dinner. Sharon suggested we all go out to a nice restaurant to get off on the right foot. I agreed, hoping it might smooth things over. But the dinner was a nightmare. Her friends kept probing into my personal life, asking questions about my job, my house, my future plans, without offering anything about themselves in return. It felt like I was being interrogated. The conversation took an ugly turn when they started talking about relationships and jealousy. One of them brought up polyamory and being friends with exes. To my shock, Sharon chimed in, saying we shouldn't be too hasty on those topics. This was a complete reversal from what she had always told me. She was staunchly monogamous, and she had been firm about cutting ties with ex-partners. But now, sitting at this table surrounded by these new friends, she was suddenly open to things we had never even discussed before. It was like I didn't know her anymore. Then the check arrived. Sharon slid it across the table toward me and said we should split it. I was furious. I had already paid for my meal, and now she expected me to cover everyone else? We argued right there in the restaurant. I slapped down enough cash to cover my part and walked out, leaving them to figure out the rest. After that, things only got worse. Sharon kept calling me toxic and fragile whenever I questioned her behavior. She'd apologize, saying she was just stressed at work, but it felt like an excuse. The final straw came on Monday. I was at work when I got a Nest doorbell alert on my phone. I checked the footage and saw Sharon and one of her new friends walking into my house, leaving with my golf clubs. Those clubs were a gift from my father, and they weren't cheap. Furious, I called Sharon. She tried to gaslight me, claiming I had promised to lend them to her friend's boyfriend. I told her she had an hour to bring them back or I'd call the cops. 45 minutes later, the doorbell camera caught them returning the clubs. Sharon's friend flipped off the camera as she left. When I got home, I found the clubs tossed carelessly on the living room floor. I confronted Sharon, and once again, she tried to twist it around, calling me toxic for overreacting. That was it. I told her to return the ring and her key. We would talk about our relationship this weekend, but as far as I was concerned, the engagement was off. She cried, begged, and insisted it was just stress, but I wasn't buying it anymore. After she left, I had the locks changed, just to be safe. Since then, Sharon has been bombarding me with texts, professions of love, endless apologies, but I can't shake the feeling that this is all an act. Her friends have even been texting me, calling me toxic and fragile, claiming they knew all along I wasn't man enough for Sharon. Even some of my own friends, people who've known Sharon for the entire 2 years we've been together, are confused. They can't believe she changed so drastically. Some of them think there must be something I'm leaving out. They're suggesting I said or did something to set her friends off, making me question myself. It's a lot to take in from every direction right now, and I don't know where to go from here.